Episode 1 of the Benchmark podcast. Thought of the name because we're representing Benchmark Surveys.
Yep.
Benchmark is always needed when you're doing a survey.
Benchmark is the start of something.
Start of something, yeah.
Data
so
point.
This will either be a good datum or it'll be, won't it? So hopefully it'll be good, and hopefully we'll get some guests on, some bits of kit. We've brought in some of our relics today. Stuff that just sits in the office and collects dust at the moment.
Yeah, just a good little visual
fossils.
aid.
Yeah. But
Seb's fossils.
Yeah. So let's start with you, the boss.
That's unfair.
Let's go back to the start.
Okay.
So you're leaving school, got to find a job. How is it that you fall into the male-dominated industry of quarry and surveying, really?
So did my O-levels, which obviously you don't do anymore. Stayed at college at the school, sixth form, did 3 years of A-levels, 2 years of A-levels, and then had an unconditional offer to go to Bath Uni to do food science, which is what I wanted to do, but didn't have any money to go. And
food science?
Yeah, I wanted to be a dietitian.
Right.
So really into cookery. That's what I wanted to do. So went with my dad. We went up there, looked over Bath, lovely university, lovely place to go. Realised that I didn't really have any finances to go to do that. And I was at home for about 12 weeks before I was to go away. And Mum and Dad said, you ought to get some interview experience for jobs, just see what's out there and not waste your time, just sat around doing not a lot. And there was a job advertised in the local paper, which is the way you used to find jobs then. You don't do it now, but yeah, it was in there. And Mum being a geography teacher, I asked her what a land surveyor was with a quarrying company. And she said, well, why don't you go and find out? So I applied, went for the interview and asked mass of jobs, loads and loads of questions. Sorry, that's the questions. And in the evening when I got home, they offered me the position because they thought that I was really enthusiastic. And I did find it really interesting. So I thought, what do I do? Do I go to uni with no money, or do I do a 4-year training course and actually be paid to study as well and get a career that way? So it was for the first 4 years that I worked for them, I did 2 years at college. Right. So I did 2 years at SCAT, which is Somerset College of Art and Tech, which was cartography and land surveying. And then I did 2 years of pure land surveying at Bristol University.
Right.
So,
for someone who doesn't, who might actually watch, so what's cartography if you're...
Cartography is map drawing. So when I started, we did it all by hand. And there were a lot of people on the course that work for the Admiralty, which is based in Taunton, and they do all the charts, worldwide charts. So yeah, just basically map.
UK
drawing.
Hydrographic Office, still the same
place.
Same place,
where we've just been doing some surveys.
Yeah,
just up there. And so yeah, that's how I got into it really. Decided to do that and get paid for 4 years instead of going to uni and running up debt and not being able to afford life afterwards.
Do you ever think how it would have gone if you went and did your food science?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I still really enjoy cooking, and I think I would have enjoyed that career.
Yeah.
But my parents just said, well, you've been offered this. We can't force you either way. You get to a crossroads in life sometimes, and it's your own decision. So you make the decision and decide what you want to do. So I got paid £52 a week when I first started.
Nice.
Yeah. So,
well, you still cook a Sunday roast, don't you, and stuff like that?
Yeah. I still do it.
We would have followed in footsteps. Me and you two would have been chefs.
Yeah.
We'll be having a cooking channel.
And I just find it fascinating all the way through. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been really good.
So you've made that decision, you've gone into the land surveying. you did the 4 year, I'd say it's an apprenticeship kind of thing now, similar to that.
Yeah.
And that was with what company was that with?
So it was a local quarrying company called ECC Quarries at the time, which was part of ECLP. So it's all to do with the China Clay Works down in Cornwall. But we were the quarrying division. So it was hard rock, limestones, granites, and sand and gravel.
Right.
So some ball clay mines, but most of it was open cast.
Right.
Yeah. And so worked for them.
So you ECC, you went in and what was your job role as such going in? Because you've gone through your apprenticeship. So what's your job role for them? Is it like calculating just volumes continuously? Or
so no, back in the 60s, there was a massive disaster in Wales called the Abfan disaster, where a huge slag heap from the coal pits had fallen and it sort of engulfed a school and most of a village. So new legislation was brought in for any workings and any tipping areas, and they had to be recorded and monitored every 15 months and to certain scales. So the basis of the survey division within the quarries was to do that legal work that needed to be done.
Right.
And then on top of that, it would be...
Is that like setting out, just making sure it's safe, basically?
So we would resurvey all of the working pit and any of the tips every 15 months and draw up scaled plans, but it was all done by hand.
Right.
So the survey kit that we used at the time, it wasn't computerized, so everything was hand booked.
Right.
And then we used to draw it out by hand like a massive dot to dot.
Yeah.
We would update our drawings onto like a plastic sheet that used to put through like a dye line machine, and it would just take the colouring off of the, it was like a negative really. And that's how you created the plans. And then we used to work with the geology department for doing reserves. So reserve calculations, restoration, setting out new development areas that they were going to go into, big topographic surveys of fields and that sort of thing. So that was our legal work that we had to do.
It must be crazy looking at how you've gone from. It's not that long ago. We can't go back. We're not going back in time.
Far.
It's not too far. But to see like software and instruments now compared to like your hand drawing and things like that, it must have taken like quarries as well. I can remember when I started and you were going up stockpiles and you just flew up the stockpiles, and I class myself as like fit, like young lad, played football all the time, but you just fly up those stockpiles like.
Oh, it was really, really good exercise. That's one thing I do like about surveying is it is good exercise.
Yeah.
And so you can eat whatever junky food you want to do at the end of the day. So nice chocolate and stuff like that once you've done it all. But no, it keeps you really fit. And and it was an amazing job. And it's always been. And it's nice really, I suppose, coming from the start of all that computerized technology coming into play. And watching you lot now, especially like things like this on podcasts and stuff like that, which I've got no idea about at all. Just seeing how technology has just taken over everything. Yeah. It's really changed. It was really mathematical back when I started, but I think now it's definitely more artistic. There were no computers when I was at school, and we bought the first one at Quarries. We had to pay £10,000 a year to license the software to do the basic traverse adjustments and that sort of thing. But every
and that's a lot of money, isn't it? Back then, like £10,000. That is a lot of money. Yeah.
And we had to handbook everything and then type in everything. So HAVA, slope distance, point code, point number, everything had to be entered.
And if anyone doesn't know what that is, that's your horizontal angle, vertical angle, slope distance. So that's if you ever see people out doing a little survey and things like that, that's basically what they're measuring continuously to make a map.
Yeah. So we started off from that, and then technology sort of come in. We had a theodolite with a measuring distance, which was That's a really old survey bit of kit. But prior to that, it was just a measuring distance piece, which was a Jodometer 122 that used to just be connected to the top of the theodolite. So the theodolite would give you your horizontal and vertical angles, but your distance would be read through this distance meter reading on the top. So it's, again,
would you have someone play? So you would be reading the angles, but would you have someone drawing at the same time? So I've seen.
No, we used to do it all ourselves.
Oh, you do it all yourself, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you look back when they're using like trig pillars and stuff, and they used to set the big plate like table on the top, and then they had a plane, and then one person's measuring the distance, he's recording back, and there's one person doing the angles and distances, and then one person's basically doing a big dot to dot, aren't they? On the
No, we used to book everything, and then you'd come back into the office, and we had a big drawing office with a massive drawing table in the middle of it with a huge protractor, so you would just measure it out with all your degrees of angles, and just draw it by hand. Then that's where the cartography came in, because you know the style of somebody's plan.
Yeah.
So it's quite.
I remember up at the university when we'd done some work, and we went into one of the old, wasn't it, like archiving libraries, and they had actually like the first. They had actually the architect's drawings of some of the old buildings that were done. And I think the Odeon. Was it the Odeon in Exeter? That was hand drawn, but they'd drawn like a street scene, and it was like had the people in it as well, and they'd basically hand drew it all. And I was like, it was honestly a work of art. It was incredible. Yeah, so we would go up there, weren't we, for quite a while, getting all the old drawings out.
Yeah, it was nice because there was a lot of flair in it then, and there was skill.
You had a nice handwriting back then as well.
Yeah,
like grandma's handwriting's like lovely, isn't it? They wouldn't want to look at my drawing. It would be horrendous. Yeah, absolutely horrendous. I can draw on CAD, but by hand would just be. Yeah,
it's a different thing now, isn't it? Just everything computerized.
So what age? So as you progress through ECC quarries, like aggregate industries, you're progressing through. You start off. How old were you when? So started. Were you an assistant, or did you fully after your apprenticeship? Were you just fully qualified then, and you kind of were in a leading role?
I started a month before my 18th birthday at the quarries, and then that started my sort of apprenticeship. So I did the 4 years training, and then once I was fully qualified, I did about 2 years, and I had a lead surveyor who was my boss. He then moved sideways into like health and safety. And he moved up to Leicester, which was where one of our biggest quarries was located. And that left his role, and I had that position. So after 2 years of being there, I became the senior surveyor, and I had six surveyors that I managed. So yeah, I managed all of that department. We worked as part of it was geology and survey, so we worked with the geologists. That was our department.
Nice.
Yeah, we used to cover all the UK, one quarry in France, Channel Islands,
Guernsey.
Yeah, Guernsey and Jersey. So Rhone quarries, Isle of Wight, and then we would go all the way up through like the Peak District, but we did have a big quarry up in Scotland, but we never went up to do that one. But go across to Cambridge, bottom of Cornwall.
How did you find it? So, being a woman in like quarrying and stuff like that, it must have been not something that they'd see all the time, because it's not. You go back to like even the Instagram following we've got now, which is like thousands and over 14,000 people now. I think it's like 91% male followers, which is a lot.
When I started, the company was great to work for, but there were no females in sort of management within the company at all. The only females that worked there were in the office. They might be like the secretaries and that sort of thing. But there weren't anybody out in the quarries at all that were females. I think from their point of view, it was sort of fairly novel. And I never had any bother. I used to have real good relationship with everybody, except from
That's good.
When it would get to some of the more senior managers, especially in the northern quarries where it was more, you work down the pit and do that sort of thing. And the women stay at home, bring up the kids and cook the tea, that sort of thing. So I did have a lot of aggravation from them. But then I just thought, well, I'm employed to be here, so I've just got to get on and do the job.
Yeah.
So any of those that they didn't like me, I just ignored them, really.
Yeah, you got on with it.
I just got on with it, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there was a few incidents, really, that were quite unpleasant, but you just get on with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
You obviously done well being at the management. So how did that, would you think you would have stayed at Quarries? Obviously, I think it was that you got made redundant or what?
Yeah, so in 95, big companies, in the 90s, companies took the view of cutting back on staff. And so they didn't have to pay holiday pay, sick pay, didn't have to pay into your pension funds. So it was a way they thought of saving money. They would get rid of sort of like service providers within companies and put everything out to sort of consultancies. So all the engineering division, geology, obviously surveying, everybody got made redundant. The construction people in the quarries that maintain the plants and that sort of thing, they all got made redundant. And then we were just brought in on a consultancy basis. Right. So I didn't really know what else to do. And I thought, right, I'll set up on my own. But I set up with one of the people that worked for me in my department. And we had a contract, just a yearly contract for covering. So
that was really where Benchmark was born then?
That was the very start, yeah. So I had you, and your dad wasn't particularly well at the time, and we had a mortgage to pay and everything. So it was just a matter of just getting on and working, really. Yeah. So I just set that up and worked from home to begin with, and then sort of picked everything else up on the way because we didn't have any commercial experience of quoting for work, all that sort of thing. So I've just learnt that as we've gone along. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think you've spoken about in the past with me is that you remember doing stockpiles with me in your stomach. And I'm thinking, so I was surveying really before I was born.
Yeah, I did. So there was one incident over in Carmarthen on a landfill site, which was really quite disgusting. And I'd gone out, they were going to extend out into the bog area, which was their next development area. So I'd walked away through the bog, but to get back to the office, the quickest way was to go up the bunded bank of the tip and across the top of the tip. But I had all the survey kit to carry as well. So I had one of these instruments here in the box on my back, I had the tripod in my arms, and I was trying to go up a bank like this. But I was pregnant with you, so I couldn't lean forward to get the momentum to get up. So as I'm going up, I was a bit like
going back.
And I rolled all the way back down to the bottom. So in the end, I had to go up sideways because I couldn't bend enough to get up to the top of the tip.
Oh my God, I bet that was a sight.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I probably was.
On a stinking tip as well.
Yeah, it was awful. But yeah, so I worked it. So one of the things that does stick in my mind about women in industry, and I hope it's really changed now, which I'm sure it has done. You get a lot of female engineers and that now, is that when I was pregnant with you, there was no maternity policy within the company that I worked for, which was a large company. Yeah. So I had to sit down with my director and had to come up with a policy. And that's the policy that they have now. So there was nothing that they had in place. And I worked until probably about 3 weeks before I had you. And I got called into my big boss's office and I sat down and he said, well, Helen, he said, thank you so much for all that you've done. He said, because over the last few months, I don't think anyone had known there was anything wrong with you. And that's the way he saw me being pregnant as something that was a problem with me.
Because they knew what was inside. That's what the problem was. Good luck with that one.
Attitude, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right for all of them to be married and have lots of children. But
Yeah.
I definitely had something wrong with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought, oh, thanks for that. That's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving on to that, so 1995, you come out of it, and then you've set up, and then you've gone into partnership, haven't you? So
Yeah.
that partner's obviously not with us anymore, and we've gone on, but obviously you've built up Benchmark Surveys over the years and built up a bit of a reputation, and seen now, obviously over the last few years, we've really, really kicked on. But
Yeah.
you've been in the industry for so long. Is that something you always saw from when you, say, a young girl that came out of college, and then you've gone through a big quarrying firm, and then you've got a company it is doing well? I think it's confident to say
I think
that.
it is a good achievement, but I don't think I ever sit back and actually think that I've done that well.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just not in me to be like that, really.
No.
But it has gone really well, and I just think everyone that is within our company that we've got
Yeah.
is just a fantastic team.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of pleasure out of watching all the others grow into it and enjoy it. You know, somebody like Ryan that's just come in, came out the army, didn't know what to do, started doing false ceilings, really didn't know what he wanted to do. And then came to us for an interview, and we said no, and then came back to us and said, no, I want a job.
Yeah.
And it was us that did the wrong thing by not taking him on to begin with, because he's really thriving in it, and I think he really enjoys the job.
Well, yeah, he's
So
took
it's
to it like
just
duck to
lovely to
water,
see
isn't he?
him. Yeah.
He's brilliant.
Yeah.
He is brilliant. He's got that
Really
methodical mind, and I think that's like you said about it being so mathematics being orientated into that job at the start, it was just so heavily about that. It's not too much about that now. It's about having a methodical mind and being a problem solver, and obviously being in the army, he's got that background.
I think now with a couple of the others, you know, say Josh, who is very, very artistic. I think when I was at school, it was either, you know, mathematical based career, a passionate career, maybe medicine or something like that, or you were more onto the sciences or the arts, and they would try and push you or guide you into a job that suited that tendency that you had.
Yeah.
But when you look at somebody like Josh, who was brilliant at art and is very, very digitally minded, he's absolutely fantastic at surveying. You would never have thought, if he was at my time, that somebody like that would have been good at surveying.
Yeah.
But the way technology is moving on now, with it all being point clouds or computerization, 3D visualization.
Well, I don't think the
I think it's
photogrammetry
fantastic.
side and the drones that we went into was kind of Josh's. Obviously, we were doing the surveying, and me and Josh were good mates at school. Came out, and he didn't really know what to do, and we had the opportunity to come and do a little bit of work with us, and it just flourished then, didn't it? And he's just gone into the drone side of it's then come into surveying, and he's like just seen this bit of passion about it.
Yeah.
And then he's even been featured with like reality capture or capture reality, whichever way they say it. But some of the stuff he's done in the past, like integrating it with our laser scan stuff, it's just been some of the projects it's been crazy. It's been a different side to surveying as well from traditional like topographic surveying. It's really opened up the artistic side of what we can do presentation wise and stuff.
He's got that finesse, he's got that flair for just finishing the job off, and alongside with Ant, who's got a passion for it as well. I think the two of them just work so well together.
Yeah, both great, aren't they?
He's Ant's a geek with Measured, isn't he? He's just it there. So those two are
loves it.
Do you know, I came in on Sunday, had to get some keys out of the office and stuff. I saw Ant upstairs, and I'm thinking, like, what are you doing then? He's I've got to get this job done, and it's not like we're not forcing people to come in on the weekend, but for them who've got family at home, girlfriends, right, doing whatever they want to do, but some of them you can't keep them away just because they are so passionate about it. And we've managed to build up a good team. I know we've had some bad ones and stuff, but at the moment we are very good. I'd say the team we've got at the moment is just perfect for what we want to achieve. And going forward, I think
everyone's just slightly different on the passions that they have.
Yeah,
we've got Matt, who absolutely loves drains.
Yeah. And scrap metal. He's like he is a magpie for scrap metal, which is
got that graft in him, hasn't he?
Yeah.
he has got that graft, yeah. And we've got Sam on, who's come from a fibre background. He's just head on CCTV and the drainage side as well. And it's like gloves. Like
gloves is the
future
ultimate
guest on there. Sorry,
he is a future guest, and it will be the geekiest podcast ever about just pure land surveying.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about tolerances for like an hour,
technique.
oh my god, he is just head on the survey game. He is that's one word, isn't it? Passionate.
Yeah,
he is passionate about surveying.
About it. Yeah.
So I just think the mix that we have now is fantastic.
Yeah,
it's really, really good, and I love to see everybody really enjoying it.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's been brilliant.
It's really good.
So, sticking with you, you've gone through, and we got rid of the partner about 8 years ago?
Yeah,
we got rid of the partner.
Longer. It should have been much done before.
But we've gone like that, haven't we?
Yeah, we have.
Since the takeover and things, and we got like big security now for the kit and stuff, but we got
we've got
the store cupboard, haven't we? The store cupboard.
Yeah.
Like we were saying the other day, like it's not that long ago we used a room that was.
Well,
it's got the fridge. It's the fridge in it,
isn't it?
Fridge and a microwave.
Yeah,
and
and the tuck shop. Yeah,
you go back 5-6 years.
Everything
was in that one cupboard. I think it's 1 meter wide and it's 2 meters long.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to think now the technology we're using, and the stuff we're giving the client compared to what we're used to, it's just crazy, really.
I think we always strive to polish the job. At the end of the day, the job is literally, we've got the best kit.
Yeah.
We've got the best people using it. We've got their minds where they're trying to get the absolute end degree of everything that they can get out of the job to make everything absolutely perfect. And it's very rare, very, very rare that anyone comes back and asks us to check anything.
Yeah.
But, nobody's infallible.
No, you always, and it's where you learn the most.
Absolutely.
That's what I think, like, especially like Ryan and people that are new to the industry, the kit now is very much, and it's being sold that way, is that you could just press a button and it's right. It's right. Yeah.
You don't
That's right. That's right. You've
experience, do you? You can just pick it up, press it on.
Yeah.
Let's get going type thing.
But until you make a mistake, and then you've got to really sit down and you've got to figure out how you've made that mistake, why it's happened. I think that's where people actually can learn the most.
Yeah.
I've been lucky enough to sound like I'm an old man and just be like, when people come in and be like, do you know the kit I started with? I'm only going back like 11, 12 years, but the kit I started on was literally that. Didn't track.
No.
You're hand logging. You're on that keypad all day pressing it. And like if you're stood behind a tripod and you're moving around, like cold feels cold.
Yeah.
Remember the job at Taunton railway station where the wind and the rain was that cold. I just said to Mum, like, I'd just had enough. I was like, my hand had gone like, literally like that.
Strong.
Yeah. I was trying to write down string numbers with just like chiseling out into paper. And when you used to say, oh, I got waterproof paper, people would be like, oh, piss off. Like, no, you haven't. You actually be like, it did just to dry out. So you go back, put it on the radiator and you see all your pencil markings going like that. But, it's funny to think like over the last 10 years, it's gone from literally that to we're walking around now with like tilting GNSS poles in trees and getting tolerances that like people would be arguing, oh, well, you're not getting tolerant. Well, you try traversing all the way through those trees and then tell me that your tolerances aren't greater than what you're achieving with those bits of kit anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's amazing what is in the industry now, and it's over the next, what's going to happen over the next 10 years? It will be crazy.
I don't know. It was interesting going to the college Correc
Connect, was it
Connect, I think it was called, the other day. And there was another company owner there who's got a large local company, and they did a questions and answers, and they were asking whether or not on a college course you should learn about instruments like this and about how surveying started, plane table, maybe chaining, that sort of thing. And he actually said as well, which I completely agree with, is that you do need to know why you're doing it, because nowadays you can switch a piece of kit on and it'll work, but you don't really know why you're getting the results that you're getting. And
the TSA do some good courses, don't they?
Yeah, the TSA have started doing some courses, which is they've done
like
that
Ryan's just done
years.
it. Ryan's just done his a week away, didn't he? Is that a week away?
Yeah,
he did like the fundamentals and stuff.
Yeah.
The one thing for that though, and I do, he had some feedback on that, was I do think people need to have a bit of experience going on the courses, because you need to have that understanding of how to set a tripod up. Setting a tripod up when you first do it will take you so long, and especially if you've got high peg or something like that and you're trying to do it, but you could waste some of that courses on a couple lads that have never touched a survey instrument in their lives. But if they went, say, to a company for just even a couple months, set the kit up, had a bit of an understanding of what it might do, and then they go on the course and then can understand what the kit is doing, rather than going there, doing a day on setting a tripod up in a 5-day course.
Learning about survey nails.
Yeah, and it's just, it's not to say it's wasting other people's time, but when Ryan goes there, Ryan had 6 months experience.
Yeah.
And because we're so varied at work and we're doing all these he's using bits of different kit all the time, time would have been better for him spent on the course actually learning full fundamentals. And he did say there's a few on the course that just knew absolutely nothing.
It was the basic course, but in a way that would have given him confidence to know as well that actually he's already above that.
Yeah.
So, there are further courses that we'll send him on.
Yeah, of
which
course.
Would be good. It's good for him. Good for him. That's a confidence booster, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good.
Let's move on to
spotlight on you.
The younger brother.
Yeah.
So, really, when you left school,
it's quite hard to. I'm gonna have to do that.
How when you left school, you didn't go into surveying straight away. So what did you do? I know, but for people that are listening,
yeah.
And I don't know. You said you were going to college, but you
never did. No. So left school, and really had sport in mind. That's what I really wanted to do, whether it was coaching or some sort of teaching or something like that. I knew a few lads that were going to Exeter College. So I picked a course there. I did that alongside the football academy.
Right.
So I played football all the time.
Yeah.
In class with your mates.
Yeah.
Didn't really get much out of college, really.
No.
I'll probably say about 90% of the people that went there study sport don't do sport now, because it's you got to be quite good at that to do it in the future. So left college, kind of in and out of jobs, working in kitchen, bars.
Nearly food.
Yeah, nearly
went there. Yeah, the same story, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Went into Korean.
So in restaurants, stuff like that. Even helped out a friend building like stages for big performances, like Muse up at the uni and stuff like that.
Right.
I don't know how they passed me off to build anything like that, but and then I got contacted by an old football manager about a job at an airline at Flybe. No longer.
So sport did come in.
It did, yeah.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Flybe.
And he said there's a position come out, so I worked there went for an interview, got the job. About 2.5 years I worked there.
Right.
At Flybe, which was good experience, working with different people. Some really nice people, some not so nice people.
Yeah.
But it was a good experience.
Did you leave when Flybe went under then, or did?
No, I left and they went under because I left.
Oh, well done. So Exeter Airport's been a shambles since you left.
No, but I left, and then it was a good few months later they went under.
So can we say that you sent Flybe under? Can we say that?
I was keeping them afloat, yeah.
They missed you.
Yeah.
Back, Seb.
But it was shift work, and I didn't really have much of a social life or anything like that. I wanted to play football on the weekend, but I'd only have a certain amount of weekends free or a Saturday free. So I wanted my weekends back, really, and I was looking for a Monday to Friday job. And then you said about there's a position coming up about laser scanning.
Yeah.
In work. So yeah, join the family business. I was late to the party, but
well, do you know what my thought train? I think for you, obviously being at Flybe, I was thinking, Kai, he's going to be quite techie. Yeah. But I have to say, you're like Dad on the computer, aren't you? You are fucking useless. You are fucking useless as well.
I'm crap.
Yeah. Like Mum tries to get a phone with her.
When you're behind me, and I'm like...
Yeah. Yeah, if I go in Mum, she just forgets how to use a computer. She starts typing it. Like, you're just writing out an email like that. I stand next to her. She can't use a keypad.
It's the stress. It's the stress.
I hate it.
Yeah. So yeah, you came in, didn't you? As a laser scanner.
Yeah.
Not as a laser scanner, but to do measured building surveys, basically. Use the laser scanner.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Which was good. Like I do enjoy doing that side of things. But I think because I was in an office-based job before, I kind of thought, I can be a bit more hands-on now. Yeah. And then obviously you go out on site, you go to nice places, but you might press scan and you stand and wait for a little bit. Yeah. And then you move it and you kind of just stood there, you're collecting data, which is good, but I wanted to be a bit more hands-on. So I went out on a few utility jobs. Yeah. With you and Josh, probably.
Yeah.
Sonding pipes and
sonding
stuff
shit.
Like that.
Yeah. Thought this is for me.
Yeah. But no, it was a lot more hands-on. I thought, like get to the end of the day, and I thought it felt like I've done a good job there. So yeah, kind of just fell into the utility side of things. Yeah. Started doing that a lot more.
It's funny because we cover so many. We obviously do topographic surveying, measured building surveys, underground utility surveying, drones, and we're not massive company, but it's like Josh was doing utility surveying with me, and then he's just like, I don't like doing that. Yeah, I've kind of just, and he's messaged me and just said, look, I think I'm better off doing this, and then you've fallen in. It's kind of, it's nice to have that opportunity, isn't it, for people coming in to just problem solve themselves out, really, and just and choose what career path that they want to go on.
It's very, very diverse land surveying.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of opportunity for people that have got lots of different skills.
Yeah.
It's just a really lovely career to be partly office based.
Yeah.
And partly site based.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just you do go to horrible sites. There are jobs that aren't particularly that great, but how nice is it when you've got a lovely autumn day, you're just out in amongst loads of fields.
Oh, it's lovely. It is beautiful.
In the middle of nowhere.
It is. It is a lovely job.
It is lovely.
I think there needs to be some more, needs to be a big push really on getting more people into the industry and not just a bit more knowledge on what it does. I think there's a little bit of gap in the market for how to present what a land surveyor is, because there isn't many courses, and you're talking the way you study to be a land surveyor. It's like you're a true land surveyor, but you're not going to get a true land surveyor these days. You're not. You're going to either fall into it just for like we did, or someone's going to offer you a job and you think, I know what that is. But you see the videos, don't you, on all the time on TV about joining the army. Is this for you? Kind of like those type of videos.
Mum needs to start doing adverts.
Yeah. Not so much adverts, but it catches your attention. I don't think reading a job advert saying, do you want to be a land surveyor on how much it is? I don't truly think, but reading that advert, you don't know what it is. No.
I think quite often, and it's always been the same, if you said that you're a site engineer or a civil engineer, people are, oh yeah, that's great, that's a good career, isn't it? But if you say you're a land surveyor, they go, what's that? I don't know what that is.
I've got mates, he says you go out and just take photos of fields. That's what I honestly do. They go out, you take photos of fields. And I'm like, no, I don't just take photos of fields. It's a little bit more complex than that. And a couple of them who, a lot of good mates, they kind of have figured out now what I do. But truly, they don't really know what I do. And I don't think it's an industry. It's not like saying I'm a plumber or a carpenter or something like that. But it is a bit niche, but it is needed in the industry. It's a massive role in construction.
It definitely is the benchmark of any development project.
It is, it's the start of any construction project.
And if you don't get the topographic survey, the control, the original data of the site fixed first properly, then you're doomed.
Yeah.
And then it just brings in errors all the way along. I just think.
Well, we've seen that recently, haven't we? But I've been
push forward.
We've been doing a bit of consultancy work, haven't we, for quite some big house builders and stuff about people going out and not doing surveys correctly, and we're going and checking it all and things like that. And the importance of a topographic survey for every piece of design going forward, whether that be like drainage, like anything going forward within that development, is all based upon that topographic survey being right. Yeah. So it is a big job, a big part of construction that's overlooked quite a lot. The client as well. So we did a survey a few years ago for a big local factory, which is a phenomenal world leader in what it develops in Tiverton. And we were asked to go in there and just do a measured survey of part of one of their warehouses. Yeah. And then as the project grew, they were taking the roof off and constructing a new roof. But everything inside that building had to continually work whilst all that was happening. And there were vents, chimneys, skylights, everything in the roof that still needed to stay in place while they lifted that off and then reproduced the next roof. So the project grew. I originally asked them if they wanted it controlled properly. Did they want the project? Did they think the project was going to be anything else? No, we only want you to do this. We accept that amount of money for you to just do that element. Yeah. And then you go back and you do a bit more for them and a bit more for them. And at the end of the day, it works out to being like this massive project that they want to have done. Yeah. And there was an error when there was some, the building itself, the roof itself was locked in with other buildings. So the only way that we could do it was fly the drone. And it was one of our original drone surveys. And when we flew the drone, we actually lifted the datum slightly when we connected the 2-point clouds together. Yeah. And it wasn't a great deal, but that error, which we found and we corrected, would never have happened if the client had the education enough to think, this is what they can produce for me. Yeah. This actually is what I really do need. Yeah. Instead of them believing that the architect is king and the architect comes in and says, I want this, that and the other. And then they don't really know what they want. They don't know how to spec the job. Yeah. So, that was a good point where really the land surveyor is really, really critical. The start and should go and do the job. Yeah.
It's like a standard really though, isn't it? It's like how they should follow it. Yeah. You know, you go to like building sites now and they don't really know why you're there. No. Oh, you're doing this today, are you? And you're like, well, yeah, but you should know why I'm doing it. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They should have right, before we do this project or move on to that field, we need that done. We need this done. You know, we're going to sites now and doing utility surveys. Yeah. Well, there's a house built there. Yeah. You've already put it in.
You've already got
You've already dug the ground.
Well, Allison Homes, who we do quite a bit of work for, they've been really good on the fact of, like, had some issues, haven't they, with, I think, like, in the past of some surveys that they were given and they weren't very good. Yeah. And they're just, like, getting the survey done from scratch. And they say, I want you to do it all. I want you to just go there and do the job properly. Yeah. First go, set up the control for the engineer, set everything up, do the utilities, set the site up. And that's it. And going forward, that is what it's going to be. Okay, I think back to the one we did not too long ago, the consultancy one, and they were using a topographic survey, a large housing company, using a topographic survey that was an extension from a council job of a road. So the job had gone over fields and fields and fields. And I've spoken to that surveying firm and stuff, and they said, we spoke to the council and said, like, we need to apply a scale factor at this stage. Like, it's getting bigger and bigger. No, we want it to represent 1 and 1. Like, they just didn't understand things like that. Then the house builder somehow has got hold of this survey and they're like, oh, we'll just use it. Save costs, save a couple £100 on this one field at the start. We'll just use this one survey. Well, they used it, put all the houses in. It's in the wrong position. So all the land registry documents are all put into the wrong place. All the drainage design is in the wrong place because the field doesn't line up with the drainage infrastructure that's been put in anyway. All the people coming out, there's different fields. I think a road was constructed by machine control, so it was done off GNSS. So they've come in, it's not to the same scale factor. And then, so you've got all these people working off different datums and control.
Yeah.
When if they just started the project and went, I'm going to pay a couple thousand, they make millions.
Yeah.
If they just started the survey
correctly
at the start, for a couple of £1,000 and just said, look, I want this done. It's on you then, whether it's wrong or not.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, actually, the people that constructed the road, actually, they were wrong and using GNSS. It's like, how are they meant to fucking know?
Yeah.
They're given a design to go and do. So they're like, oh, I've set it out and it's absolutely fine. But it's that no one's working off the same hymn sheet. And
we just had that as well with a hospital job where it was an architect firm phoned us up, said, could we get there on a specific date, very short notice, because it was an operating theatre that needed to be measured. So it was measured building survey. So we went up and we did that. But they had, or somebody had already commissioned a few months ago, a topographic survey. But that information wasn't given to us. So we did the measured and we did a bit of drone work on the outside to get all of the roof. But for us to control our own job, we did a small bit of topo work to connect the outside and the inside truthfully together. When we've given this to the architect, they said, oh, you're probably around about 40 to 50 mil different in your Z value
to
the topo survey. He said, well, we haven't got the topo survey. You've never given it to us. It's got nothing to do with us. We didn't know there was existing control.
Yeah.
We didn't know you'd had the survey done. And now they say, oh, yeah, but it's height critical. Well, it might be height critical to them, but we've done the job that they commissioned us to do.
Yeah.
And we've given it to them. But then who's more right, us or the other company? Because you don't know. They were done on different
datums. Yeah, different times. Different pieces of equipment. Yeah. They could have traversed from wherever. Like, it doesn't.
So we don't know. And to be honest, they would then come to us and say, oh, can you have a look at this? Well, yeah, I can, but that's time and effort and expertise on our part, which they didn't want to pay us for originally.
No.
So it's their problem, not ours. But it didn't need to be like that. Didn't need to be. So, this is where things come in, and that's where
this could be done with a lot of industry training. Then there's a lot of not so much us going out, and we're talking about obviously our surveyors going out doing the courses and things like that, but industry wide, obviously more so I think in underground utility surveying it's every time in it. Can I have a GRP survey? Can I have a GPR survey?
Yeah.
Like, they're not even like getting it right, and then it's like, can I have a utility survey? Can I have they don't even know what to ask for. It's They don't understand what an underground utility survey is. Truthfully, I don't know if the industry knows what the PAS 128 compliance is. I do personally. I think all underground utility surveyors do, and I think it's amazing that white paper basically to follow. I think that's brilliant for every person to go and follow. But do the clients understand what that is and the methods that are used? Because they don't.
I don't think they know what to ask for a lot of the time, because they've come out of university. A lot of them are graduates that have come out of uni that might have done geology and then a postgrad in construction.
They don't.
Or
needs to be
whatever.
A bit more education on the side of what a survey entails, really, and what the end product could be for a lot of them. Because I think that's something that's struggled in the industry, isn't it, for how to present work. I think
you go to site all the time, don't you? And they go, oh, just push your pram over that, or your trolley.
Yeah, push your trolley, yeah.
And they expect it to be like some magic cart or something like that.
Magic machine, yeah.
That it's supposed to provide them with this, but they don't have an understanding, do they, of the limitations of the kit. And
do you know what I got asked for a while back on a big Kia site was to push my trolley over the stockpile. So they dug a hole, put a stockpile there, so I can't move that stockpile. He said, "Can you push your trolley over it?" I looked at him and thought, "You're fucking joking me. You are joking."
Yeah.
He's gone, "Well, Mum said there's a utility." I'm like, it's not going to fucking birth a utility in this fucking stockpile, is it? I said, let's think logically. Shall I push it around the stockpile to see if there's anything coming underneath the stockpile?
It's coming straight out.
And I'm like, like, what brain logic is this? This is someone who's like senior management saying, push your trolley over a stockpile. Like, that's stupid, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Worrying. Very worrying.
Yeah. I think.
But it'd be good to, kind of like have an industry standard of what they require, actually have a bit of training on what it is that they're requiring. What a survey is, like what's the benefit of having it.
I think there's a bit of, we're in a bit of stagnant water with time of like what a client can actually have as well. Because if we go back to when you started, you're saying your hand draw stuff, but truthfully, I'm hand drawing on AutoCAD and I'm giving exactly the same thing. And we've gone from software, we've gone from something that doesn't track a prism to now standing under trees with tilt and things like that. And then from software, we've gone from a piece of paper to a computer, but that realistically, they're still printing out a 2D PDF a lot of the time. And it is exactly the same as what you were producing so long ago. So why? I think in the industry wise, I know software has to catch up. I know it does. I know that the equipment on site is far superior to the software at the moment and how to present to a client. But we're still in that phase, aren't we, at the moment of a client doesn't actually know what they're receiving or what actually would be best. You do a point cloud of 1 million points per second. And then you end up giving them a 2D floor plan.
I think probably the end users don't have the computer power to utilize all of the data that we can now collect and we can process. And I think going forward, the cloud-based server system where you've got like a central hub and everybody's working from that detail. So the electricians, the land surveyors, civil engineers, the drainage people are all working there. And that data that is hosted on a cloud, which has a lot more processing power, people can access bits off of their phone, they can look at it. It's also one lump of data that if somebody makes an alteration, everyone's working off the same hymn sheet. As opposed to, like saying in the past, somebody's got something old or something new, or they
back
commissioned
that one
a little
file
bit.
Up,
and they're working off of the wrong revision of a drawing. They're as you were saying, there's a lot of data that we collect, which would be really, really useful to the end user, but they don't have the capability of being able to use it. So I think that I quite like is something that is coming into play.
I do think it is, and I've started to alter quotes at the moment to think what the client actually would need. And I know sometimes you'll lose out on a little bit on that, but sometimes I know the clients, the king, they know what they require, things like that, but they don't half the time, and they don't actually know what they want. So there is some jobs that just it won't work. Like sometimes you can't GPR in an area, and they're like, "Why have you not GPR'd in there?" Well, because it's fucking full of brambles, and you haven't cleared the site. Well, if you think logically, even at a simple stage like that, they don't truthfully know. So sometimes it's quite nice to not trying to educate people, but again, that's what we are trying to do.
A lot of the time with land surveying, because we can produce so much and so diverse is the output that we could give people. We do have to educate the end user as to what they really, really want, because they don't know, they don't understand. So it's fun. There's a long way to go.
So go back to Seb, I think. We went off a little bit then, but
just went off. Fancy me.
Don't you drink?
No. Level 5 utilities fair now.
Level 5,
Level 5. So How many years is it now, surveying?
February, it'll be 6 years.
Will it?
Yeah. 6 years, yeah.
Do you still enjoy it?
No, I'm joking. Yeah, I do. I do really enjoy it. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I'm more like utility based, really.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
But I do topos as well, but mainly utility based. But it's good. Kind of run there's a couple of sites now and stuff like that. It's good to have.
We're doing quite complex jobs now. So it's been nice. Yeah. I'm taking more of a senior, like I'm in the boss's office now.
Yeah.
I'm in the boss's office.
Yeah.
And
talking all the time.
I'm talking all the time and then getting these little weird ideas like a podcast. And then I just drag my brother and mum on. You must be tired at times listening to me sometimes. But I am thankful.
Keep up with your brain waves is hard.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do apologise, but...
Yeah, it's good. No,
it's good.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. It's good. It's a different job. It keeps, each day is different.
Yeah.
I mean, after this, we're off to 2 hours away to do a night shift.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's different. Every day's different. And it's, as well with utilities, there's always something kind of like pops up, but you think, I've never seen that before. Or you lift a cover and you don't expect it.
Yeah.
Whether that's a 10-meter deep well or.
Yeah.
Or like some.
Remember that at that school?
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Me and him lifted this heavy, where they put the sets inside the manhole. Stupid design, aren't they? Absolutely ridiculous. Those metal set, and they just fill it with concrete, and then they're like, try and lift that with those pissy little handles they put on there. And then we lifted it up, didn't we? And it's found this 10-meter deep well right outside of school.
Yeah.
And we're like, like when you're carrying something so heavy.
Yeah. I mean, you lift it and you're like, oh my God. I didn't think I thought it was going to be like a little gully run or something.
Yeah.
But, it is fascinating though, isn't it? I think
it is.
I still have a lot of excitement with the job. I love it. It is really good. Even though you won't let me go out doing surveys anymore. I have to stay in now.
Yeah.
Chained to the office. Don't let her out. Leave her in there.
Don't let her out.
Yeah.
But no, it's great. I just think it's just so interesting. Like you say, all the different things that you find.
Well, yeah, as well. And, you have a lot of clients that say, I know the things that are here, there's only that there.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it's back along, we went up and did this job up near London, pharmaceutical company. Guy said, well, there's a heating pipe. I know where everything is. I just need to tick a box type thing. But I found, I think it was 6 heating pipes, communication cables, electric cables, and they were going to repair a broken drainage. So they were going to dig down, and all the services ran all over the top of this broken pipe. And
it's probably the services that broke.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah, the weight of it was.
Yeah.
But there's one. It's decommissioned heating pipe.
Yeah,
that's it. Don't worry about it. Type of thing.
Yeah.
It's nice to.
It's good that he got a utility survey though.
But I
tell you what, the amount of people that would have gone, you'll be all right. Yeah. To be honest, I remember.
Did they not that job that though, because they'd already hit something somewhere else.
Oh yeah,
I think it might.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, I did.
Yeah. But I would like to say that.
No. I think you're right. Actually, yeah. I think I had the conversation actually with that bloke, and he did say they weren't allowing him to carry on anymore because they'd hit another one.
Yeah.
But it's great because you went there on a weekend, very last minute, and
that was good. That was a good job.
Yeah, and I think they were
they were like, wow, like we would have gone right through that, and do you know what I mean? They would have been like, they were about 10 blokes stood there, and they were like, Christ, you'll run out of colours in a minute because the place was just lit up.
Yeah.
With stuff.
It is fascinating though. I think it
is. Yeah,
it's problem solving. That's what I like about it. It's just. Yeah, it's you're solving all the time, and you're constantly, your mind's got to be on it. You always got to give the client the best you can.
Yeah, and as well, there's, I want to say there's ignorance out there, but there's like some people, like ground workers, have done it for years, but it only takes that one. I've gone to site before doing a utility survey, but they're already digging, and that's the one thing I hate is sometimes you go to site and you're like, well, I am kind of here for you, like kind of for your safety.
Yeah,
I'm trying to just improve what knowledge you might already have of the ground.
Yeah, but he would have got his cat out the back without the Jenny, the one that's been twatted about all day in the back of the van. And then he would have just ran over the top of it, not knowing what it was. And then I remember that not long ago, fencing company right next to our office, but Balfour Beatty's old office got flattened. And I went round, I had to secure the site. So I had to secure the site. I understand that. But the next couple of days, we're going there to do a full utility survey. Topo and util the site. I went round.
On the other side of the
road. Massive.
Huge,
the substation behind, huge, 33 kVs going in there, 11 kVs coming out, like massive. And I went over to the guys, I was walking Dennis, went over to the guy and was like, I'm doing a utility survey here in a couple of days. Like I've done a utility search already, like basic utility stat drawings. There's electric where you're putting the fence. Oh, we've CAT scanned it, blah, blah. I was thinking, mate, you're not getting that HV in there. I can guarantee you're not seeing that HV because it's running near the LVs and the BTs and stuff. Went over and he's smacking these down minimum. So I actually ignored him and rang his boss. Said, look, I could see your guys there. I said, I know there's a HV where they're digging. Called him up, said that. I said, how deep? I said, it's saying on the drawing it's 600 deep. He says, well, we're putting in the posts at 500, metal posts at 500, 600 deep.
Yeah.
So I'm like, look, a couple of days, that's all you need to wait for. Went back the next day. They just thought, fuck it. I ignore him, and I'll just put it in. I remember tracing the cables there. Can you remember the photo I took? And it is literally scraping the side of that post.
Yeah.
And I just think, how,
It's just
arrogance and ignorance and arrogant. Irrigation.
Irrigated.
He irrigated me, I'll tell you that. He fucking did irrigate me. I just thought, what a twat. Because you could kill you, like, not just yourself, but like...
You're only trying to help. You're only trying to help. Point out to him, and he was just being an idiot.
You know, it's not like a magic wand, and you're not gonna... There are sometimes you can't find stuff, but it does give a bit more of a peace of mind, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That you've gone and done a good job. You've used all the kit available. Yeah.
And the other thing is you can't say that you can 100% find absolutely everything.
No.
And there are companies out there who will say, we will find.
Well, you're doing non-intrusive survey. That's what you're doing. You'll use the kit to the best of your ability every time you go out, but it's not magic.
No,
it's not magic. They started to do using VACX on a lot of things now, and I think that's a great way. You'll go and mark it up, and it is good.
Yeah.
So how do you find working with mum and brother?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah. No, it's good. It's not just like you two, really. It's the other lads in the office. They're more mates, aren't they, than anything. We're all quite close. But it's nice. It kind of takes that work stress off. I know you have work stress, but you've got to, like, you know, if something did pop up and you needed to not come into work or something, you've got that cushion. Do you know what I mean? It's nice to have that family run side of it.
What do you think you enjoy the most? What do you think you enjoy the most about the job?
I think because it's family run, you have more of a passion for it, don't you?
Yeah, you do.
You know, I know you might take a lot more stress home with you because it's more personal, but you do have once a good job is done, you're like, that's us.
Yeah, it means a little bit more, doesn't it?
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that rubs off on the lads. I know they're not blood family, but the group of lads we've got, they are passionate, and they do take it to heart, a lot of them, about the quality of work that they're putting out. And I think that's a strong thing to build on, especially building up a team. We've built up quite a bit over the last few years, but if we can put that on every person coming in, that it does mean something.
Yeah.
Especially little Isaac.
Yeah.
We got little Isaac. Yeah, you got little Isaac.
But yeah. I think if you don't pull your weight, it shows, doesn't it? I know we've had it in the past where people have come in and been lazy as anything, and you think, well, nah.
Yeah, we've had a few. One bad apple in, you get one, and it changes the tone of the office, and we find that straight away.
It disrupts
you notice it,
can't
you?
It really does.
People
start talking, you go, I was with him the other day, or with
We've been good with that, though. We've been good. We've ironed that out.
We have, I think the team that we've got now is amazing. Everyone's great.
Yeah. It's good.
It's really, really good. I just like this morning I get in and Ryan's in, but he's doing the night shift with you two later on. And
I don't think he sleeps.
You didn't need to
Right.
come in.
Yeah. He doesn't sleep. I know.
And he went,
Probably went for like a 10-mile run or something.
Yeah, he probably went
Gym,
gym at
gym,
3 and then I think the army's driven him a bit too much on it.
Perhaps I'm too soft on everything. I don't work hard enough. That's what we need to do.
So what do you think your favourite bit of kit is, would you say? What do you reckon your favourite bit is?
As things have developed, I think there's always been a piece of kit that has come out and it's made the industry move forward. And there's been sort of ones there that have markedly changed life. Being able to track the prism, which is the little ones there, instead of having to move the instrument and lock it on, finely adjust onto each of the prism heads all the time.
Pieces now. That's the good one.
That will change things. And then when things were changing over more to using satellite systems and GNSS, the pieces of kit that we had then, it was all a bit iffy. And then the R10 came out, and that was my favourite. That was just amazing piece of kit. But I think the R12i was the next. That's kind of revolutionised. That's the last bit of kit that's come out that has changed.
It has changed surveying, I think, yeah. And I think you go back to saying that you sound old saying it, but like, can you remember using that, like that Topcon there, PGA1, GRS1, that there?
Yeah, that was
like, it was good for its time. Yeah, let's do that. But when it rained and it sat in the corner and just kept pressing enter, how fucking irritating was that, by the way? And then, like, you'd be using it, stood in the middle of the field. It would know if you looked at a tree. I swear, you would be like, fix. Look over at the trees, float. Yeah. You'd be like, oh my god, no signal. And it has come on so much, and it is easier now. But I think not so much it's easier, but you're getting so much more information on site now.
Absolutely.
And I think the client is benefiting from it, not so much just the surveyors. I think when you're getting that much more information, you have to move with the times. So we've seen a local company that hasn't moved with the times, and that was probably competition not too long ago. And to seeing them go like pretty much to fold, it sees like you have to move with the times. You have to move with it. And be passionate with what you're doing as well.
On the other side, so I think your answer to your question, I think the R12i probably is like.
Sorry, I went off.
And then, no.
I went off. I did.
And then,
I went off on a completely fucking new subject, but yeah, we'll go back to that.
on the measuring side of it, I'm pretty good at drawing plans and doing interlocking circles on wonky walls and using tape and disto and that. And I'm pretty bloody good and fast at doing that.
Yeah.
But actually using a laser scanner does do it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And you do get all of, like these little beams and things like that. If they were critical in a room and the way they were laid out on the ceiling and that sort of thing, that data that you collect now is incredible. And we were one of the first, we bought the first in this country, the TX6 scanner, which weighed about half a ton.
It does weirdly gains 40 kilograms if you just put it in the box.
Put it in a box.
Put it in a box.
And that was absolutely amazing to use that. And it's still a good piece of kit. I do like it. But now we've got the X7s.
So if you had to take one, you're taking one kit out of the office, what are you going for?
R12i.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because I can tape and disto anyway.
Okay, yeah. What's your favourite bit of kit, would you say?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, the R12's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just unreal. But I mean, the Stream DP as well. I'll just take it all, I think. I don't
spent a lot of time with the V-Lock, haven't you?
The V-Lock. Yeah, the V-Lock. VVAC stuff is brilliant. I'll probably go for that, actually. Yeah, Cat and Jenny. The V-Lock 3. Amazing bit of kit, really. Yeah.
I'd like to say as well, you've chosen the R12. Mum was ahead of time with tilt, right? Look at that prism. Look at it.
That's
I don't know if you
quality,
can see that. But I always remember you had to try and get to the office first and take the good prism, because one prism was tilted. I'm not sure we were compensating for the tilt, but it
always quality. So always.
That one always used to make you laugh. Look at it. It's just tilted to one side. But yeah.
Ahead of the game.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
What was that one day? You just couldn't get a point, so you just
bent it.
Yeah, bent it around, yeah.
It's when you use the pole to cut the weeds down. It's just bash them down.
Yeah. I reckon let's go to my favourite. I reckon Stream DP's been incredible. Like multi-array, like GPR, and just massive data capturing. It's been amazing for us moving forward, especially with the underground utility side. I know people have been using multi-array for years and stuff, but it's we're fairly new to it, like 8 years in, and
it's affordability as well.
It's been amazing moving that way. I'd say Total Station. I'm torn. I love Total Station work. I love it. I absolutely love being on Total Station all day. People are lazy with it and don't want to set a Total Station up, but when you get a Total Station up, you can absolutely power for a day. That one there was brilliant. Tracking that was really good.
Yeah.
Not so much having to, like, you know, when you skip past.
Yeah.
And you sort of go back. It used to be well annoying, that part. And it used to make a noise. It used to go like, and I swear to God, you would get home, and you'd be like, what's that noise? And you'd be like, oh, it's a fucking Total Station. And it would just be stuck in your brain, this whirring sound that's just been going all day. I think I think I'd go Total Station, I reckon.
Yeah.
Just because they move so far forward now, you can even like scan with the Total Stations and stuff. There's so much you can do with it. Reflectorless capabilities has changed the world for it.
Piece of kit that you definitely need.
Yeah,
it is.
That or the stream, really. Yeah, it's been.
And we tend to use Trimble, which is when I started, we used Jodometer, and then Jodometer obviously has grown into Trimble. So it's just a historic thing that on the survey side, or the Topo survey side, we would use that equipment as opposed to like a kit, which obviously does do the same range of equipment. But I think on the utility side, it's Leica or VVAX.
I'll tell you what's gone under the radar as well. There is the DS2000. I honestly reckon you could take that to war and it would still come out wheeling about.
Yeah, I know.
It's a tank.
It is, and we've thrown that about. I've even tied that to the back of a quad bike before and just like gone round.
The quad's good.
The quad's good, but it's just.
What about the ProSec? That's the other.
The ProSec's really good. There's a couple bits of that.
With that.
Love hate. It is really good, but you could tell it's software is like real techie and it's really good. I think it's brilliant in its own circumstances. It's good, but there's just a couple little bits like the cart, the box is the same as like the TX6 where it like the GPR is like this big, but you put it inside the box and it's like 4 tons.
It is nice that it comes with that.
Yeah.
We've got the stream and you had to.
Well, I've hand built one, haven't I?
Yeah,
a box for that. But the ProSec is really good. It's nice that we've got quite a few of them and we can use them in different.
Got our fingertips of like steel as well to get the battery out.
Oh yeah.
Whoever designed that, because you got to twist it, and then wrap your fingers on top and like pull it out at the same time. Yeah, it's like a technique to get the battery
especially when you got really cold hands or like covered in mud.
Yeah, they're all brilliant bits of kit though. We wouldn't buy it. We're someone. I think as a company we do test a lot of like. Rigorously test bits of kit before we purchase them, and I think
everything we've got we use. So the best day for me is when I go into the store cupboard and all the kit's out.
Yeah,
and everybody's using everything. So though we have got a lot of equipment now, we tend to have that out and about using it all the time.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, all our kit. Well, we use it for each job, don't we?
Yeah,
really.
Yeah.
You know, if we've got tight footpaths and a bit of road, you might take the stream and the ProSec.
Yeah,
because it's really good for that. Or if you've got a field, you might take DS.
Yeah, it depends on what terrain you're going to be on and what's going to be best for that.
If you've got a tricky topo and stuff, take the X7 out.
Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, we've got all of it, haven't we?
Yeah.
integrated, don't you? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good that we've got a range.
How do you think, moving on a little bit, but how do you think social media has been like on the back burner for us for a bit of just, I remember, I think one of my first Instagram photos is actually me using the Jodometer at Exeter Uni. So I think it's progressively grown whilst we've grown.
Yeah.
And then we kind of have quite a good following now. We've got like well over 14,000 followers on Instagram. We've got a real big following on LinkedIn. I've had the opportunity recently to go over to Germany, going Vegas. And I haven't told you actually. My flight means I come back a day later. That's about.
Another day.
Yeah, I know. I've had some absolute holidays this year, but
so you're going to make that up before you go then?
Yeah, I'll make that up. But yeah, I just think social media has been a big thing for us, I think, but not such a massive thing in the industry. So what do you think's helped us?
Well, I wouldn't really know how to do social media because I'm not really that into techie side of it. I definitely think it's something for your generation, and you're doing really, really well at it. And I think other companies are now seeing what you're doing and thinking, hang on a minute, we need to catch up with this.
Yeah.
There are a couple other companies that I've got that I'm following now that I see that are putting posts up and they look very similar to what we've done.
Yeah.
But I think they obviously see the beauty of it. I mean, that's the way it's going, isn't it, really?
Yeah. It's weird. I had a meeting last night with, it's the connectivity across globally as well.
Yeah.
And it's so much like we sat here having a chat last night, but I had a meeting at 8:30 last night with a guy, some product development stuff in Colorado. And like, I'm chatting away and I'm thinking, this is nuts.
Yeah.
This is nuts. I'm talking to someone from Devon over to Colorado about bits of like survey instruments and things like this, about like what they wanted, he plans to do and things like that. And then I'll talk to Slugsy, who's on Instagram, who's out in South Africa, and
you got Ben in
he's got a great accent, by the way.
In Australia.
Yeah. Ben, Geelong, cable locating over in Geelong in Australia.
Yeah.
But he's great, Ben. He's done videos for years and things like that. But it's that social media, I think, is you're talking about going to that correct connect and things like that and speaking to local companies that, but it's gone bigger than that now. Yeah, it gives you a bit more of a platform to go and chat with people right across the industry. There might be someone. I was talking to Chris Rooney this morning from Malcolm Hughes, who's a proper GPR geek, and it's probably like I was going into a bit
Scottish.
of GPR. Scottish guy, yeah.
He rang me. I've spoken to him today.
Yeah, so like, and speaking about a bit of GPR and like he's geophysicist side, he's come into it that way. So like a lot more knowledgeable. Like I feel like we're really self-taught on that. And when you're in the utility industry, your cards are close to your chest. You're not giving any tips to anyone else. Whereas the land surveying side's always been really vocal and helping each other. But Chris was completely different this morning. Had a really good chat with Chris and we were talking about GPR stuff and how he's helping people out. And we did a bit of work for them a while back. And it was nice. It's just that social media has kind of changed us over the last few years on kit. And
I think it's nice to talk because else you're almost in your own little bubble and you're wondering whether you're doing things the right way or you're not. And you only really know about other products is when the sales rep comes in and they want to sell it to you. Yeah. But actually being able to communicate with people, especially if you've, like with your Stream DP, when you have the problem with the connecting Leica kit to Trimble kit with the cabling and that sort of thing, actually having a discussion about that has really, really helped, and that was really good. I think it's great. I think it's really good. And it's fascinating looking at other people's projects when they're sending something out. And it's not because you want to steal their work. There's plenty of work out there for everybody. It's just,
yeah, exactly. There is plenty of work out there, especially if you're good at your job. I think and I think clients are now starting to pay it as well. Yeah, they want the job done right. So I think before we finish, I know you've just gone on social media there, so it's a bit away from it, but going back to work a little bit for, obviously the announcement of that we are now going to be doing CCTV drainage and reporting that side of it. Yeah. jetting as well. So we've just got our jetting van will come in the next, well, probably when this podcast goes out, and we'll have our jetting van, and we've already done some projects. I think we've worked with drainage CCTV guys in the past. So actually the people that we've worked with recently have probably been the best ones that we've worked with. Andy's a really nice guy, lovely bloke, but like with all of our surveying over the years, the plan is always to bring it in-house and manage it ourselves, just because
it's quality
over the exactly. We had the job last week for like a big Hepworth house, and we go there and we put all the control in. Topographic survey starts, puts all the control in, basically controls all of the measured survey. Then it controls all of the GPR that was set up on that exact control. We then got the drainage guys coming in. They're doing CCTV. They're doing jetting. The only thing we didn't use in that one project was the drone. And the smooth running of that, like the whole project done in 4 days.
And cross-referencing.
And
so if there was any problems, we would notice them.
Yeah. Well, there was a manhole that was just outside the area, hidden on one side. We turn up, the drainage guys go, it's under all these leaves and things like that, finds a manhole. Do we have it on the topo survey? No. Back, it's done. It's not another company bringing up saying, we've found this drain, it's in the middle of like somewhere really difficult. You're going to have to come back to site. It's like arranging. It's there and then, bang. Yeah. It's the laser scanning guy, puts his laser scanner there. It's already done anyway, fixed to the point cloud. And then suddenly we have it in place to the correct datum, everything moving forward. So I think that's an important announcement to make, especially in our first podcast, is that, it's something that we're going to be offering: CCTV, drainage and jetting. Rodding, and clearing. But it just makes sure that we're moving forward with the clients want, and it's moving forward with what the industry wants.
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully the podcast will show.
Good package to order. Good package to provide, isn't it?
To offer a client so we can do the whole lot.
Yeah, it'd be good. It'd be good to have it all there.
Nice. World domination. That's what we're going for.
Procedural wide.